complete May 2026 haul. This is all the comics that I got in the month of May. If you've seen the 2 live streams, which always take forever. I actually want to check my phone. Do I have it with me? Yep. I just want to check real quick to see if it officially uploaded. It did upload, but it does it twice. Okay. I hate when shorts play right away. I don't know why it does that. It's right to shorts, and it plays it automatically. I never have my phone muted, so it always plays it. Thankfully, it wasn't, like, the loudest thing ever. Alright, so I'm gonna go to my channel. Guess I don't have to go to anything else. It was being weird, because it was, like, still processing. Okay, so it's done processing. It does look like it's officially. So if you've seen the 2 live streams, I thought that we had technical difficulties. Yep, it's been officially uploaded. Nice. So if you saw those 2, you've seen the majority of what I got. But that was kind of unorganized, and in fact, now I'm not going to do the Blu-rays. The Blu-rays were exclusive to the live stream. I'm going to say that, because I don't usually show off Blu-rays. I only had to when I bought them in the month of December. So we won't be doing that. It's just the comics, and then that's it. So you saw the live stream, you saw the Blu-rays that I got, and then you've seen the majority of what I got for my birthday, and that was the majority of what I got for May, because that's my birthday month. I don't usually get comics outside of that. Of course, ones I bought that day, I bought yesterday, I showed off. But there's 2 that I got earlier in the month that I did not show off in that video. So those will be exclusive to this video. Now, if you've seen, of course, if you've seen the video I uploaded before my pre-birthday comic haul and a live stream, you've seen everything I got. But this is more just an organized video where I show off everything that I got, all the comics that I got, and it's a more detailed video where it's not a live stream, so I don't have to be answering chat in between. And I'll be focused on that, I can be focused on the actual video itself. So without further ado, let's get into it. With the first book that I actually, instead of showing off this book, I showed off Violent Flowers on my official uploaded to Instagram post. And I felt really stupid for doing that. And I should have noticed too. I should notice too. Like I was, because I checked the picture on my Photos app on my phone, and just like I want to zoom into each book. Usually I don't talk about each comic. I will like split it out because there's a huge stack here, and I knew top on all of them I may make like 5 posts. I already had to make 2 posts. So, and I was limiting it to the essentials. And I'm surprised I didn't, when I was going down the pile, I'm surprised I didn't notice that I did not put artificial there. So it's Violent Flowers. It looks, the 2 covers look very similar. I think that was just it kind of just threw me off. I was like, oh, Maria Lovett, okay, yep, but this is Maria Lovett's Artificial, collecting all 4 issues of the miniseries, which is written, drawn, and I believe even lettered by Maria Lovett. Written, illustrated, yep, I was right. Everything's done by her. And then here is the artwork for Artificial. Now, Maria Lovett has done 3 separate series for Image Comics. The one I have aforementioned, Violent Flowers, this, and Crave. And it was so satisfying to get this one, finally. There's a little blemish, though. I did just notice that, a little bend here. But other than that, it's immaculate. I do, now, those of you who saw the video will know that I was kind of like, oh, that's weird here, how it's a little warped here, and it's like showing off on the actual book itself, the spine is a little warped. That's, I think, the way it was printed, because I'm kind of like feeling around for it, and like where the bend would be, and it's like completely fine. Like you'd be none the wiser. I think it's just the way that it was printed. Maybe because the spine, because the book is so thin. Actually, that doesn't make any sense because it's showing off here. No, because I'm saying no, because that's right too. Doy. I don't know. But anyways, Artificial, Maria Lovett. I showed the artwork. I showed it again because my brain is like, you didn't do it. But do I know I did? There's the artwork for Artificial. So that's what I do for these comic hauls. I am like, here's the book. Here's who writes it. Here's who draws it. Here's all those credits I like to show. I like to credit. I do writer, artist, colorist / inker if applicable. Gotta stop saying I don't do any of the letterers. I don't go that far down. In fact, there's a book that's going to be one of the last books I'll be showing off is several artists and writers. And even that's kind of a hassle, just name all those names. But I do like doing that. I think that's at least the most vital, to mention those names. I just think to mention 40 names for each book that I'm showing off, especially when it's 48 comics, that's a lot. I mean, even for me, that's a bit of a... This video's only going to be an hour and a half, basically, potentially. So, to make it 2 hours, because I'm just naming a bunch of names, I think is a bit redundant. So it's writer, artist, color/anchor, if applicable. And I'll always mention co-writers, obviously. And sometimes it does come as a surprise. In fact, one of them here, it's like writing assists by this writer. By this writer. His writer. By his other name. It's kind of weird. You've seen, I think I've actually officially uploaded these cuts. There was several videos where I would be going over the book. I'd be like, okay, artificial, co-author, and I'd be really angry because co-authors for me kind of makes no sense because it's like, who actually did the writing? Now, The Schlub it's a Image comic series that's written by Ryan Stegman and Howard Porter? No, it's not Howard Porter. Kenny Porter. And it is a little bit confusing because it's like, well, who's actually writing it? And I actually caught him on a live stream, on an NMC's live stream, the American Conditions live stream, and he had mentioned how he and Ryan came up with a bunch of ideas, so he gets, of course, and I credit the writer who gave him the ideas as they were collaborating on that project. But for me, it's just a lot of it is like, is that what happens every time? Is like a writer's room for TV shows where a bunch of them are pitching ideas and they get adapted to the big screen, to the small screen. It's one of those things that's kind of confusing for me to think about because it's comics, it's a different medium than TV shows or movies or anything else. And a lot of it is that it does take away from it. There was a book that I got that was like, oh, this is an author I've never heard of before. And the co-author was Ryan Cady, who has done 5,000 Image books. So I was like, okay, so now I have to feel the need to get all his Image work. I did not do that, obviously, because I need to budget myself, and that's a great way to budget myself, is ignore things like that. But it was like, it's kind of annoying. But I don't think it's happened to where it's been a huge surprise and the co-author has been what I didn't like. It's just usually like that. It's usually because the completest in me was like, well, no, I have to get that, and then I kind of ignored that. In fact, there's a series that's called The Infernals, who I got because the co-author wasn't just written by the writer of Rogue Sun, whose name is escaping me right now. Ryan Parrott. But, I was saying, because for the longest time I didn't get it, because I was like, well, I get Rogue Sun and that, but then I got, because, the co-author, I think it was actually Kevin Gardner? I think it was Gardner. But anyways, moving on. Then the second book that I got, that is the only one that was the earlier book, is Everything Dead and Dying. This and one of the last books I'll be showing are the ones I'll be reading right off the bat. In fact, I got the library copy, it's shipped. So why did I do that? Well, I don't like to get my brand spanking new copy any more damaged than it needs to be. And yes, I do that. I just did another so those of you who are keeping track of how many times I'm saying these two don't count when I'm mentioning it. You can take another shot. You're probably dead by now because of how many times I say the word. But so the reason why I do that is not just because I want to keep it in pristine quality and condition, and I always want to read that copy, and it's like, why'd you? It's kind of like the equivalent to Blu-rays. If I get a digital copy of the Blu-ray, it's actually included in it, because the movies that I got yesterday, they said digital code included. It was not included because it was a used copy. There it is again. I will watch the digital copy, and I will not watch the Blu-ray. A lot of that is because it's easier to watch my laptop than it is on the Blu-ray player, and we have two of them now, but it's still much easier for me to do on the laptop. That way, I'll have to set a scheduled time either. I can watch it whenever, and so yeah, the Blu-ray is then completely useless technically because I'm never going to, or I'm rarely ever going to watch the Blu-ray itself. It's always going to be the digital code. So that's kind of how it is with Everything Dead and Dying and books like that. The library has, like, hey, here's the library copy. I don't do that every time. In fact, the last time for another book I can't remember the name of, the name is escaping me, they didn't have the library copy, but I didn't bother with it because I was like, well, I want to read right away. So sometimes it's just like, I can't get to the library at this date that I want to get to start reading this book, so we're going to just read my copy. But it's just a lot of it is trying to keep this book in pristine condition, and it's like, well, the library has it, might as well read it. At least the first time, read the library's copy. So because of that, I will be reading Everything Dead and Dying right away, because it should come in tomorrow, hopefully. There's again. Now, the book that I was showing, the last book that I was showing, the other one I was saying, like, oh, I'm going to be reading that one too. That's not the library's copy. It's my copy. Now, this is written by Tate Bromball. Designed by Dylan Todd, Courtney Menard, and Deanna Avila. Covered by Jacob Phillips, who is also the artist. And no, I don't know why they're doing it like that. There we go. Written by Tate Bromball. Artwork by Jacob Phillips. Colors by Pip Martin. The letterer is actually a writer now, Adita Picard. I shouldn't say now, because I believe he or she, I don't know their actual gender. There's the again. But I know that they are a writer now. And I know they were for Silver Coin, that was the point too. They did a write-up for Silver Coin. It was a 2-page storyline, but still. It wasn't even a comic book. It was a written story. It was a prose story inside a comic book. But now they are doing their own comic, which is called In Your Skin. It's a 4-issue miniseries, and I can't wait to read it. So there's the interior artwork. It's also from Image, too. I'm going to do another 2 pages. I know it's silly. I don't know why my brain is doing that. Like, you didn't do it. Like, yeah, I did. I just did it. The next 3 books I'm going to do a little speed run with. I will go over the writers after, but these next 3 books, I went to a comic shop called Double Midnight Comics. And Double Midnight Comics is the antithesis of the majority of the comic book stores I have been to recently. The 2 Newbury Comics in my local area, the 2 most local Newbury Comics, and then the one I went to yesterday, are pretty sucky. Like, they're the GameStop of comic book shops. And by that, I mean that they are more concerned, first of all, they're more concerned with everything else besides comics. They call themselves Newbury Comics, and they have more. The one I went to yesterday had more pop figures than comics and manga. They had a surprisingly full Blu-ray and DVD collection, and with a bunch of TV shows on DVD and Blu-ray too. And the comics, to be fair, the one that I went to yesterday, that was a new one I've never been to before, was more ransacked than they didn't care. They had a buy one, get one half off, and I guess just everybody just went to Newbury Comics and bought up their stock, because if you took all the comics that would, like, say, there was half here and half here. If you took that and put it here, you'd have one full row of a shelf of comics, and then the next 2 would be bare. That's how much it was ransacked. And even then, one thing I do have to give credit where it's due is that, in my argument for how it's the GameStop of comic shops, is that it was the most random volumes and the most random series. Volumes 3 and 4, or 3 and 5 of Gunslinger Spawn. Of course, the Batman and Superman Absolute books. They had the here's the again. They had the All-Star Superman Deluxe Edition, which that was pretty cool. That was one I've been thinking of. I almost thought of getting, because I want to get All-Star Superman in a different format. But I mean, just get the library if you want this, and I'll probably have it. But it was just random books like that, and then, of course, the most popular stuff, like Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, all the DC compacts. They had their own shelf and in the front of the store for, the exit for the DC compact comics. Now, why was I going to 2 comic shops? So I was trying to find 2 new releases. One was that day, like when it had just released as a trade, that just released a day earlier, like on my birthday, like on the actual day that I went to the comic shop. So to expect them to have it, I knew it was a bit of a stretch, a bit of a long shot. So, but of course, I'm not going to just go to Dibble. I'm not going to just go to Double Midnight Comics and say, do you have these 2 books? And they say, no, I'm going to leave. I wanted to shop there, so it's a half an hour drive from here. So I decided to shop there. Now, the first 3 books that I got from them were replacement books. And I am so happy that I got that. In fact, I think I'd almost argue that because of how much I spent there, which wasn't that much, it was just kind of like, how much money I had in my wallet compared to what I spent. And, of course, I got Blu-rays, too. I got $50 worth of Blu-rays, $110 worth of comics. So that's a lot of money. It's $160. I had $200 in my wallet. So that would have been even more of a dent in my wallet if I got these books and I got the replacement books. Or no, sorry. I got replacement books and I got the new release books. Now, the replacement books that I got, the original copies were damaged. Now, I'm going to show the original copy of... No, actually, no, that was exclusive. That was exclusive to the live stream, too. That's what I'm going to say. I'll tell you guys what the blemish was. The first one up is Ed Brissen's The Violent. And this one on the back, it was bent. It was like coming up here, so it was torn a little bit, about right to here. And every subsequent page behind it, for about 10 or so pages, was damaged. And it was a little tear there. It wasn't noticeable, and it was right above the... It ended where the margin ended. You know, how they have the comic books and the little margin. So, unless it was a one-page spread. It was a one-page spread, and there was a little tear there, which is really annoying. But other than that, it did not exceed past that margin, which was nice. And that's why for the longest time, I didn't get a replacement for this book. But I saw it. This is a $10 book, because it's a volume 1. It was supposed to be, potentially was supposed to be an ongoing series, or Ed Brisson was being generous. It's like, no, I'm going to sell my miniseries for $10. I believe it was supposed to be an ongoing, but it got canceled or whatever like that. Something like that. The Witches of Ed Brisson's work. Witches is a comic series by Scott Snyder. Volume 1 is $10. That's all you got, except for the 2 one-shots. And the second one-shot was part of an anthology one-shot. So it was a bunch of stories and then Witches. And I did the I again. So, Ed Brisson... It's written by Ed Brisson, artwork by Adam Gorham, and Michael Garland doing the colors. I'm just going to go the normal way. I said I was going to do a speed run, but I don't want to do a speed run because I'm going to go back to it. That's kind of redundant. So here's the interior artwork for The Violent. Now, if there's some of you guys who are like, this looks very familiar, I got a sense of deja vu. When did you get this book? Is this a used replacement? Literally last year. Last birthday I got this book. It was from Half Price Books, and if you'd ever needed a reason for why Half Price Books is just so irritating to me, that's why. Because Half Price Books, you'll get, like, I got a book called Madame Mirage, written by Paul Dini, with artwork by Kenneth Rocaford. Why am I mentioning those 2 names? Well, it was signed by Kenneth Rocaford. I saw it was signed, I was like, oh, Paul Dini. I was like, no, it's Kenneth, but that's still cool. And the listing on Amazon said it was used very good because of that reason. Everything else but that book is immaculate. Maybe there's a little bend here that as I'm reading the book, I'll see it. But so far, so good. Like, no blemishes whatsoever. Otherwise, used like new. But then I got a book called A Voice in the Dark. And that was actually not this past Christmas, but Christmas before that. So Christmas of 2024. And that book had on the spine, it was like, there's the crease here and a little tear there going like this way. And then it was the same thing down there. Otherwise, you could tell someone had read it and owned it before I did. It was very annoying. And Half Price Books is always like, if everything else comes in, if I order them on the 15th and everything else comes in by or on the 20th, Half Price Books is the only one that is like 25th. Take it or leave it. 24th if you're lucky. And if they have 2 books, so this is, let's say I ordered The Violent right here, and Days of Hate, same order, same exact third-party seller, Half Price Books Diamond, let's say. Instead of putting them both into one box and one package and sending it your way, they do 1 for 1. And it's really annoying when that happens, because if it's any other month besides Christmas and my birthday, it doesn't matter. But if it's Christmas, if it's Christmas or my birthday, I don't know which book is which. So, in fact, one book, so let's say I ordered The Violent and Days of Hate. So, The Violent came in, I was like, okay, that's The Violent, I can tell it's The Violent because it's a thinner book, thinner trade, okay. And then when Days of Hate came in days before, and I was none the wiser until The Violent came in. I was like, wait, where's Days of Hate? And I had to feel inside the package, like, oh, okay, that's Days of Hate, it's a thicker trade, I get it. So, thankfully, I knew what it was, I knew what had come in days earlier, but otherwise, none the wiser. So yeah, it causes a lot of stress, undue stress, because constantly worried about the damn book, constantly worried that, because third party sellers on Amazon, they could screw you over, they don't care. Half Price Books does not care. That they're like, hey, we should ship the books out to you. Good as a fuck. And like literally just like whispers that into your ear. Like, that kind of mentality. Every other third-party seller, like, treats me like royalty. Like, hey, you're buying a comic book off of us. You're not going right to Amazon. You are utilizing a third-party seller that most people are not aware of. Hell, there's probably people who buy comics on Amazon who still are not aware that there's third-party sellers off Amazon. They just do Amazon Prime and probably complain, like I do, about the condition of books that come in from Amazon. In fact, some used very good books have come in the same condition as have officially new brand spanking new books from Amazon. So that's cool. And I get them for half off sometimes. Hence the half price books. Name Half Price Books. Wonder Book is my favorite, followed probably by Stock and Trade. They're about the same. None of them, one is not better than the other. They're just really good. They always package them nicely. They would take great care into packaging them. There was a third-party seller, I can't think of the name, who would always put them in Mylars, so even more protected. Like, you have the box itself, and then it's even more protected. And I think that's awesome. I think every third-party seller should do that. If it's a thick trade, if it's a complete collection, like or a compendium, obviously you can't fit that into a Mylar, and I don't expect you to. In fact, I'd strongly suggest not doing that. But anything that's the size of this, to the size of one of the other books I'll be showing you, should be in a Mylar. Like, if it's over 300 pages, play it by ear, but anything 400 pages or less for a graphic novel should be put in the Mylar, I feel. But Wonder Book and Stock and Trade don't do that, and I don't feel the need that they needed to do that. Oh, Majors and Quinn, I believe, does that. Yes. In fact, I think it does. I don't know. I just had the name, I feel like it was not Majors. I don't know. But their Majors and Quinn is really good. Gem City Books Ohio is really good. Gem City Books Ohio, I can always trust that used very good means, at the very least, there's a little bend here. Otherwise, completely immaculate, can't tell the difference. And so, a lot of them are good. But Half Price Books is way down at the bottom. Still better than Amazon is most of the time. But Half Price Books will sometimes screw you over and take too long to give you the book that they'll screw you over with. Okay, so tangent over. Now back on to the comics. Days of Hate Act 1, which collects the first 6 issues. The Violent is 1 through 5, if I didn't mention that. All 5 issues of that series, that mini-series. This is written by Alice Cott. Drawn by Denij Zizic, it's a very weird name. Colored by Jordi Belair. Much easier name. Jordi Belair is a name that many indie comics readers will recognize. She does a lot of coloring. I think she probably has at least 100 credits to her name, at the very least. Maybe even just from one publisher. I feel like Image Comics, every other book I get is colored by her. Like, at least one book a month I get is colored by her. Killer of Demons, which is written by Christopher Yost, with artwork by Scott Wagner, and colors by Rhonda Patterson, with color covers done by Christina Strain, and logo and cover design done by Jeff Powell, who did The Goon. I think it's cool. And this collects all 3 issues of the miniseries. Now, this one, the original copy I had, wasn't really that damaged. In fact, it was used very good from Wonder Book. And Wonder Book, with their used very good, Either it's a little bit more, let me say, a little bit more of shelf wear, but usually you can't really tell a difference. And I'm not saying that, oh, if I can tell the difference between used very good and used like new, that automatically means that the third party seller is awful. No, it's just, I should not be wondering if they sent me a used good copy or a used very good copy. And it was just the way that it came in. Because that was borderline used good, that The Voice in the Dark book that I was telling you about. I don't know, it's just one of those things that really pisses me off. And honestly, if I had seen another copy of The Voice in the Dark, I definitely would have got that until midnight. So those were the replacement books. And I was very happy to get those. The copies that I own right now, I'll probably read once, and then I will give them away for my next giveaway on Instagram. No promises if that's going to be the case. It's 3 books that don't like take up that much shelf space. Obviously, I won't be having the Violent Links of Violent. I won't have like 2 copies next to one another, obviously. Got something obviously so many times. But it's just not that big of a dent. Also, but I probably could say they're all volume 1s, which is nice. So no one's like a volume 2 or anything like that. But I do kind of want to keep my original copy of Days of Hate because it's a library copy. It's a previously owned library copy that they sold. Because obviously the library is either no longer exists or it's just a former library copy in general because they got to sell it. And it's always cool for me, to me, because of the fact that I do get library books so often too. So to have some officially pre-owned library books is pretty cool. I have my personal collection now. A game I'd always play. I don't think any of these were previously owned library books, as disappointing as that is. But a game I'd play, it was like, hey, what library is it? How far is the library from my local area? None of them have been local, which is good. But although I do want to expose my local library because they get rid of books, I wonder if I would get a library copy and it'd be their copy. I don't know why they do that, by the way. They did it for Batman Fortress, which was really annoying because I wanted to read that one. I wanted to read that one again. And it was one I put in for materials request. Materials request is no other library has it. You can put in a request for your local library to get it. And if it's a new release, at least within the last year at least, or it's one that you know that, no, a lot of people want to read this book, then they'll get it for you. You can't just get a book that only you will enjoy and was released 10 years ago. They won't do that for you. In fact, I had to find out the hard way because I wanted to have that on one entire time. What percent are we at now? Great. In fact, one of the books I wanted to get was a James Bond book. It was actually written by Ail Scott, ironically enough. And come on, brain. Oh, it's too old. It's like, no, we can't get it for you. It's not a recent release. Blood and Thunder, Volume 2. Showdown on the Outskirts of Infinity collects 7 through 12 of the Blood and Thunder ongoing series, which is written by Benito Serrano, with artwork done by E.J. Siu and Masaisk doing the coloring. I'm going to show the credits page because that's how her name is spelled, or his name is spelled, or their name. And here is the artwork for the second volume of Blood and Thunder. Now, if I had gotten both volumes 1 and 2 of Blood and Thunder, I would show off the artwork for volume 1 and then just volume 1. The reason for why I do that is because I don't want any spoilers showing off for volume 2. And it's like, okay, I'm showing the artwork for volume 1, so let's just do that and leave it at that. Obviously, I did not get volumes 1 and 2 of Blood and Thunder all this month, so I am only going to show the artwork for the volume I did get this month. But Blood and Thunder, 7 through 12. Next up, we have Transformers. I just want to see the back here. Nice. Transformers, which is written by Volume 5, Generation 1, which is written by Robert Kirkman. So to start, this is the first volume of Robert Kirkman's run on Transformers. The first 4 were written by Daniel Warren Johnson. I think to have it be Robert Kirkman is kind of cool because the spin-off, Void Rivals, was written by him originally. And I believe it's still written by him. This collects issues 25 through 30 of the ongoing Transformers series. I think that's a big spread to show off. I like how Skybound got the license to the Energon universe. They call it the Energon universe off of IDW. So they have all of them. They have G.I. Joe, Transformers, and I think that's it, right? Because Void Rivals, Transformers, G.I. Joe, and there's 2 G.I. Joes. There's one that's written by Joshua Williamson, which, spoilers, Volume 3 is what I got this month. And then you have the one by Larry Hama, which is one I'll never get unless I actually get a good deal on the compendiums, because it's continuing his run on G.I. Joe. So confusion will abound for those, potentially will abound for those who are not caught up like myself. And completists like myself are annoyed. Alright. So I did that. Showed the artwork. Told you how many guys. Told you guys. No, I didn't do artwork. I didn't do artwork. Spit it out, brain. I did not do artists and colorists. So for Transformers, the writers Robert Kirkman, George Corona, and Dan Mora are the artists. They are split up between pages. Most of which is done by Dan Mora. Mike Spicer is the colorist along with Sarah Stern, and they split it up. Sarah Stern does less than Mike Spicer does, but Mike Spicer does most of the coloring here. And then Russ Rutan, I think he's just the... Yeah, of course, he's just the... Duh. Okay. They just have names. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, I see. But the covers are done by David Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer with David Nakayama. Yeah, Russ Rutan was the letterer. They have the credits page, but you see there... You guys can probably see it, but it's basically the same color as the background. Those of you who are graphic designers are probably really annoyed right now because you've probably been there before where you have to edit something from someone, a reputable name potentially, and they did the worst graphic design known to man. It was a white background, and they did the lightest color you can imagine besides just white, or a black background, the darkest color besides just black. So that's cool. Drawing Blood, Volume 1, Spilled Ink. This one was really cool. So this was one that I had completely forgotten about. And then I join a stream every Friday. It's from Legion of Comics. I do that every Friday. I will be trying to do that every Friday from now on until whenever I can't again. But now that I can again, I'm doing it every Friday, and I was not on. And their last stream, or stream before that, I think I should do the last stream because that makes more sense. They're talking about the new TMNT series. I was like, oh, TMNT. Kevin Eastman. That's right, too. He did the Image Comics series called Drawing Blood in Volume 1. Is that out yet? And it's been out for 2 years now. As of later this year, it'll be 2 years. Now, I was just gonna wait for Volume 2 to come out and then get Volumes 1 and 2 at the same time. It's just a 12-issue miniseries plus one-shot. But I saw it there. It's like, why not get it now? There's another I was already gonna get it off Amazon, potentially. I didn't, obviously. But I saw it there and I was like, yeah, let's just get it. Drawing Blood collects the first 4 issues of the 12-issue miniseries, plus the aforementioned one-shot, which is called Radically Rearranged Ronin Ragdolls. Now, this series is about a comic book artist, which is really cool. So it's a kind of a comic within a comic kind of thing, but not actually. But I always like it's like when they make a movie about a movie. Like the Disaster Artist was the making of The Room. That there's adaptation, the Nicolas Cage movie is about adapting a novel called Adaptation. I always like when they do that. So it's a comic book about a comic book writer, a comic book artist. I'm not gonna you guys can probably tell what it's about based off the cover and the title, but I'm not gonna spoil what it's about, other than saying it's about a comic book artist. I want to mention that at the very least. The writer here is not just Kevin Eastman, but also David Alone, who does the scripts, but it's created by, creators and story is done by Kevin Eastman and David Alone. Script, David Alone. Sorry, Avalone, not Alone. David Avalone. Artwork is Ben Bishop. No, but it's done by Ben Bishop. Jesus Christ. Artwork is done by Ben Bishop. 1 through 3 issues done by Brittany Peer with the colors, and Tomi Varga does issue 4 colors. Okay. Okay, I should do flashback. Flashback artist, the layout's done by Ben Bishop, but the finals is done by Kevin Eastman. And then the hallucinations, which is kind of a spoiler there, not really though. Layout is Ben Bishop, finals Troy Little. And then GTFO Girl. Script is Amanda Dibert. Art is Skylar Partridge. Colors by Ellie Wright. And I don't know if that's a backup story to each issue or... I don't know. But there you go. Why should it be the backups that were originally in the backups in the back of each issue, hence the term backups, is put right at the end of the graphic novel itself. I'm going to show the artwork again. I feel like I didn't. There you go. Drawing Blood. And it was Transformers Volume 5, Generation 1. I like doing that, too. So if it's Drawing Blood, Volume 1, Blood and Ink, I forget exactly what it was called. I like to say that. Drawing Blood, Volume 1, Blood and Ink, artists, all credits, all that, and then how many issues it collects, and then artwork. Okay. The next one was, we're still in, this is the last book I got from Double Midnight Comics, so it started with the violence, it's ending with Drain by C.B. Cebulski with artwork by Sana Takeda. 2 names I recognize right off the bat. C.B. Cebulski is I think still a co-editor at Marvel Comics. But he did do a lot of writing credits. In fact, he had a pseudonym that was Akira Yoshida, I think it was. And everyone and mother knew that was just C.B. Cebulski. That's a fake name. At the very least, everyone was like, yeah, that's a fake name. We already know that. We know that for a fact. Here's the incredible, breathtaking interior artwork for Drain, which is a 6-issue miniseries. I looked it up. It's a 6-issue miniseries. Now, it's according to the AI overview on Google. And according to my sources, there's just one other series that's done by C.B. Cebulski. It's a 2-issue ongoing. Only 2 issues were released, and that is, I forget what it's called, but it's still from Image. But other than that, all I need was Drain, and got Drain. I actually never heard of Drain. In fact, how long ago did Drain come out? I can't really tell because if it's some older trades from Top Cow, they would have no. It would just be Top Cow at the bottom here, and there'd be nothing right here except the Top Cow logo. So no Image thing right there. I just see that there. That wouldn't be there. But just out of pure curiosity, how old is this book? Okay, do you not have a? There it is. Okay. First printing. Why don't you have it right next to it? 2008. Yeah, all 6 issues are collected here. Void Rivals Volume 4, First Chosen, is the aforementioned Robert Kirkman Transformer spin-off, and it is written by Robert Kirkman. Artwork done by Connor Hughes this time. Before it was Leonardo Del Felice, but now it's Connor Hughes. Colorist is still Patricio Teplici, though. And this collects 19 to 24 of Void Rivals. And then a story from the Entron Universe 2025 one-shot. Annual. If you want to be technical about it. Like I do like to be technical about it. Now, the next few books are written by the same author, and I had to find out the hard way that these... I'm going to speak on these next two. I had to find out I had to find out the hard way that both Dead World and Saint Germain, just one volume, are ongoing series. This has at least 3 volumes. I think all 3 of them are done by Image Comics. And then this is multiple publishers, IDW, Image Comics, Caliber Comics. So... now, why does it matter to me? Well, first of all, it matters to me because a series like Saint Germain is the same author across at least the first three. Actually, the entire series is done by him. But I'm a completist. Like, I want everything of that series, everything from that author, all of that. And for Amazon to not inform me, except for Dead World, they didn't say, hey, there's two of them, and here's both of them, by Gary Reed. But it's just annoying. Unbelievably, there's a huge Porky Pig ass stutter there. But there's the but at the end of the day, I'm just gonna say, hey, you know what? This is all I need. And of course, the next book, which is Red Diaries and Renfields. So those 5 are all I needed from Gary Reed. Now, why Gary Reed? Well, you'll soon see why. If you saw my video yesterday, you'll know why. Alright, so first up, let's do... Okay, there we go. That's probably annoying, guys. Alright, Dead World, Volume 1 and 2, which collects, which Volume 1... I believe this is Volume 1. Doesn't tell you that. Doesn't technically tell you. Alright, so Dead World, Volume 1 is... Dead World, Volume 1, 1921. And then the 3-issue miniseries To Kill a King. And then Dead World, Volume 2, Issue 8. So this is Dead World, Volume 1, and Dead Killer. Written by Gary Reed. Illustrated by Ron McCain. And because it is... Oh, actually, wait, body of art. Wait, hang on. What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? And why these two pages stick together? It's not that see me in here. Body of art is illustrated by Nate Pride. Cover by Ron McCain, though. Designed by Joe Pruitt. So this is in black, glorious black and white. What's really ironic about this is that they coin Dead World as being The Walking Dead before The Walking Dead. So it's funny that both this and The Walking Dead are zombie comics, and they are both in black and white. And I honestly wonder if Dead World is also inspired by Night of the Living Dead. I know that, obviously, come on, brain. You can do it. Oh, I know The Walking Dead is inspired by Night of the Living Dead. That's why I mentioned that for Dead World. I wondered that for Dead World. Oh, it's Baker Street. Written by Gary Reed. I'm going to take a little... So if you guys want to take a little eye break, you guys, like, you go grab a snack. You can go grab a snack now, because I'm going to take a little break myself. Still have the video going, but I want to look up Baker Street, because that's going to annoy the hell out of me, because it probably is by Caliber Comics. Now, Caliber Comics, I am fully aware, is a imprint off of Image Comics. But I don't include that as being the case. Why not? Well, that's just the way I am. Okay. Yep, the complete skate gets Guy Davis. Guy Davis and one more. Okay, cool. And scroll down here. Okay, it's not even close. It's Unco. Unco. Okay. It was just because the first two that were credited, it said Gary Reed, parentheses, this series, this series, this series. The third one was the only one that's not by Image Comics. I was like, is it though? Alright. So, Dead World, Volume 2, Requiem for the World. Written by Gary Reed. Illustrated by both Vince Locke and Delabar Telechuk. Covered by the same, they do the cover too. And actually, it's designed by both Joe Pruitt and Gary Reed. It's funny. They have to credit the songs they used in the comic. Don't Fear the Reaper and Bad Moon Rising. I wish I'd known that now, because I always like, oh, what do I do for the song on the Instagram post? And usually I like to connect it to something. Like if there was a comic called Don't Fear the Reaper that was published by Image Comics, I would put that as the song. It's always a little funny. In fact, because of Everything Dead and Dying, I did Atlantic City. One of the lyrics in that song is "Everything dies and that's a fact." So I found that kind of funny. It's ironic. So I always like to do some pun or whatever, but or like this, where it's like eagle-eyed viewers, oh, you'll know that, those 2 songs used in the book. I didn't know that until now. Because I forgot to credit what issues are published here. This collects Dead World 1 through 6. Which, if you didn't know any better, you would think, hey, is this volume 1? So Dead World, it was not created by Gary Reed. It was created by someone else. It came out in the 70s or 80s, a long time ago. I think late 80s, I believe. And then Gary Reed just did a run on it. Like how Eric Larson has a run on Spider-Man, but he did not create Spider-Man. Tom McFarlane, did Spider-Man. And all these other names did Spider-Man, but they did not create Spider-Man. Same dealio here. And again, not showing the artwork, this is volume 2. What if it was volume 1? Well, then it is. This I know is Saint Germain volume 1 and collects the first 4 issues of Saint Germain Shadows Fall. And then the writer Gary Reed, artist Vince Locke. He really likes his comics drawn by Vince Locke, doesn't he? And still the same letterer, being Nate Pride. Want to mention that here. Okay. So, I'm just going to double check to make sure I was right with it being the first 4 issues. Yep. Oh, no, and Saint Germain Restoration. Okay. I don't know if it's a one-shot or it's just saying it's being restored. It's been restored. I don't know. But here's the artwork for Saint Germain. Again, volume 1 of many. So why did I get the Gary Reed books? Why did we know about Gary Reed? Well, the Red Diaries. And keep that name in mind. The Red Diaries has in the color red. So save that to your memory banks because it will come in handy later on. This collects all 4 issues of this mini-series. I'm just going to say it's a mini-series. Now, this was pretty cool. This was involving John F. Kennedy and others. So I was like, oh, it's a historical fiction kind of book. I don't think it's based off actual true events. It could be, but I doubt it. I'm going to do the artwork here, too, because there's a lot of war balloons and text boxes there. There you go. You know that's all black. Whoopsies. Marilyn Monroe. John F. Kennedy. CIA. FBI. So it's a conspiracy. There you go. That's pretty interesting. Now, I only knew about this, historical fiction. Again, keep that in mind. You'll know, I'll reveal the whole story when I show off the other book. One of the last books, so again, keep that in mind. Here's your memory banks. For later. It's gonna stack these better. Okay. And finally, the last Gary Reed book, but not even close to being the final book I'll be showing off. We are going 40 minutes or 48? 48 minutes so far. Renfield, which collects Renfield 1 through 5. Now, this one, I did get the Caliber Comics printing. So, the reason for why I don't count Caliber Comics as an imprint of Image Comics, because unlike Top Cow, where as you go into the credits page, it will show Top Cow and Image. Nowhere does this show that it's Caliber Comics and Image Comics imprint. So, I didn't include that as an Image Comics imprint. I ignored that. So yeah, all 5 issues are collected in here. Written by Gary Reed, art by Galen Showman. And I know for a fact this is the miniseries. So here is the artwork for Renfield. Now, Renfield I always got confused with, because it's a classic book character, I got it confused with Rasputin. And I was like, Rasputin? Renfield, isn't that, that's a series by this author, and it's also Image Comics, and then I got all twisted. I was like, wait, nope. And I saw it at double midnight. I was like, oh, that's right, too. It was... Really? 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 You guys knew it. You guys didn't know I had no depth perception. That was the best way to know I have no depth perception. That was awful. Even for me, that was stupid. Slapped myself on the wrist for that. I saw Rasputin at the comic shop, and then I was like, oh, nope, that's the different one. Okay. moving on. G.I. Joe Volume 3, written by Joshua Williamson. G.I. Joe Volume 3, Dreadnought War, written by Joshua Williamson. Two artists here again, which are Tom Riley and Marco Fodera. Tom Riley doing the majority of the artwork here. Jordi Belair and Lee Lethbridge are the colorists. Jordi Belair did the majority of the coloring. And actually what's kind of funny is that when it's Marco Fodera doing the artwork, it's Lee Lethbridge doing the coloring. When it's Tom Riley doing the artwork, it is Jordi Belair doing the coloring. The exact same pages too. But all written by Joshua Williamson, collecting 13 to 18 of the G.I. Joe ongoing series. That is now being published bi-weekly. So that means that the Volume 4 will be coming out sooner than usual, right? Right? That's what that means, right? Image and Joshua Williamson, that's what it means, right? So I should expect it earlier than 10 years from now, right? Like how it feels, right? Because I want to collect it as soon as possible. You're not going to pull a Spawn universe books and have it come out 20 years, have the trades come out 20 years before the rest of the issues, right? That's the case, right? It's bi-weekly. So you chose to do it bi-weekly because you want to rush them out. And I get that, it's a great series. Everyone's liking it. It's selling really well. And you want to get them out as soon as possible. But that means that in turn, you're going to be a considerate writer and publish the trades faster too, right? Because you can do that. Because it's Image Comics and you're in charge of that shit, right? That's what that means, right? I sure as hell hope so. I'm not going to make a huge rant video about it. I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here. But that's what that hopefully means. I hope that's what that means. Alright, moving on. I wasn't being 100% serious there. It's just kind of annoying when that happens. Like, oh, so you're going to do it bi-weekly, but the trades are still being released 6 months in advance? Like 6 months this one, 6 months later this one, and then, now it's bi-weekly, not going to push it down to at least 4 months. It's going to be the same amount of time. And I get that trades are different than the issues themselves. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes you have to deal with delays. The pandemic really fucked over a lot of books from every single publisher, even just single issues. It was completely messed up and all screwed up and just it kind of fucked. But anyways, moving on. Next, several comics are done by Chip Zdarsky. The main, honestly, a lot of what I was super excited to own, I was super excited to open up and not birthday coming up, yeah. It was because of the Chip Zdarsky comics. So first up, we have New Burn, Volume 2. In fact, I'm still kind of pissed off that I had to get the Whisper Queen and the White Trees on my tablet. On the Kindle, that's fine, but on the tablet. And it's just a different format. It's if I want to read those, I go all the way here. I like having it physically. Now, it's either that or I spend double price for each book. And it'd be $3.99 at the very least, and then $3.99 shipping for each comic. And that's the most generous price. Keep in mind. And honestly, and one of them was $5.99, so I'd probably have to spend $5.99, so it'd be $20, over $20 for all three of them, or I get five. It'd be $20 for all four of them, or I get it on the Kindle, $2 a piece. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, because the White Trees is 2 issues smacked into one single issue. Now I could have gotten the first issue for free and then the second issue at $2, but I was like, well, this new printing, it probably has some changes, some extras. Let's get the White Trees new print on the Kindle. Alright, but New Burn Volume 2 collects 8 through 16 of New Burn, which is written by Chip Zdarsky and artwork being done by Jacob Phillips. Then here is the artwork for New Burn. Yeah, I'm trying not to make that seat creak so much. I don't know why it's creaking more than usual. I guess I'm moving around a lot. Okay, then we have all 3 volumes of Stillwater. Stillwater Volume 1, Rage, collects the first 6 issues of Stillwater, which is written by Chip Zdarsky Artwork is done by Ramon K. Perez, and colorist is Mike Spicer. Russ Rutan's letterer. Usually I don't mention the letterer, but when it's the same name as a book I just showed off, hey, why not mention it? Again. Here's the artwork for Stillwater. Again, just doing it for Volume 1. Stillwater Volume 2, Always Loyal, collects 7 through 12 of Stillwater. And then Stillwater Volume 3, Border Crossing, collects 13 to 18, and then Stillwater The Escape Issue 1. So 19 issues of Stillwater, collected across 3 volumes. I always like it when it's a round number, when it's like 20, so it'd be nice if it was 20 issues. If it was 21, with one shot. But whatever. Obviously, I don't care that much. I'd rather you tell a story in the amount of issues you want to tell in than have one extra or 2 extra issues just because you want to make it a round number. Alright. Kaptara Volume 1, Fear Not Tiny Alien, and then Kaptara Volume 2, Universal Truths. 11 issues collected across 2 separate volumes. Volume 1 collects 1 through 5. Volume 2 collects 6 through 11. Volume 2 came out years after Volume 1. It was a huge hiatus. And then, okay, so the entire series, put that there. Okay, so Kaptara is written by Chip Zdarsky, with artwork done by Kagan McLeod, color assists being done by Becca Kinsey. And she spells her name B-A-C-K-A. It's like spelling my name, J-U-S-T-T-I-N. Yes, I did make the same joke as I did yesterday. And some variant covers done by Chip Zdarsky, and that's pretty cool. Alright, here's the artwork for Kaptara. Now, one thing I did surprisingly forget to mention is that for Kaptara Volume 2, I ordered it off of 8 Tracks Media, who is, like, it's right above half-price books, because I've been screwed over twice by 8 Tracks Media, and it's like, oh, you're getting there at 8 Tracks Media, but every other time, immaculate. This time was immaculate, no problems whatsoever, no complaints whatsoever. Now, I got something now, come on, brain. You can do it, brain. You can do it. Now, the order itself, the invoice itself said, Kaptara Volume 2. But then when I hit track package, it was like Carmen by, not the Image Comics series Carmen, but Carmen, which is part of the EC Comics line. And I was like, why are you showing me that? And I hit it, and it would take me right to Kaptara Volume 2. So it was a glitch on Amazon's part, obviously. Now, it'd be really nice if 8 Tracks Media was like, so we know we sent you a damaged book that we said was used like new, or even better, was brand new. We're gonna get your free comic book. Free hardcover. There you go. That'd been nice, along with Kaptara Volume 2. I obviously did not expect that. I just thought to myself, how funny would it be if that was the case? Now, it would also be, I'm also glad they didn't give me that and not Kaptara Volume 2. I had to buy Kaptara Volume 2 myself. Because they didn't even have it until midnight, so there you go. Alright. Then we have Public Domain and Domain. I think Domain is a spin-off from Public Domain. I imagine it is, at least. But Public Domain Volume 1, Past Mistakes. So this is 10-issue series, collected across 2 volumes, and if you count the spin-off, it's 5 issues. But 10 issues, collected across 2 volumes. Public Domain Volume 1, Past Mistakes, collects 1 through 5, which is written by Chip Zdarsky, actually. So, created, written by, artwork done by, and I believe even lettered by Chip Zdarsky. Now, the only Chip Zdarsky book I had before was Newburn, that was written by him, and then the artwork he did for Sex Criminals. Now, I don't include that as part of my Chip Zdarsky collectathon. I always just do writer, but I felt like I should mention that. Public Domain Volume 2, it builds something new, collects 6 through 10 of Public Domain. So 5 issues put together, each volume. Then Domain is written by Chip Zdarsky, but this time the artwork is done by Rachel Stott. Colorist is Aaron Anglioni. Jeff Powell, what do you do? Logo and letterer. Nice. Okay. And here is the artwork for Domain. So this one was the other one that was the thicker book. I was like, oh, no one just came on, and this came in 3 years early, blah, blah, blah. And I showed off, I was talking about, guys, about half-price books. And a little tangent there, which I think was very appropriate, because it was, I always like to, I like to expose the kind of assholes of the third-party seller medium, because it's so easy. If one third-party seller does it right, why can't the others, you know? And half-price books is, I would argue, more well-known than Wonderbook is. Which is kind of ironic, because like, Amazon's more well-known than any of those guys, and Amazon screws me over more than anything else has. Anyone else has. Anyways. Carbon Gray, the Omnibus. This is written by Paul Gardner. A lot of names here, so, hold on to your horses. Created by Ho Wang and Nguyen. Kari Evans. Mike Kennedy. Story, script, and lettering done by Paul Gardner. Artist, Kari Evans, Hoang Ivinson, Nguyen, I don't know. And Kin Soon Lo. And it's L-O-H. Additional artwork is done by Pop Man, which is M-H-A-N. Joffrey, not Jeffrey, Suarez. Wayne Thompson, Paul Gardner, and Brian John Stan, not Stan. Like, not Johnston, John Stan. Additional writing is Tanya Landsberger. Logo design, Brian John Stan. And then special thanks to Kai Devin and Ty Dagan. So a lot of names for this omnibus. And it collects 3 issues each. So 3 issues of the first, second, and third volume. Now, Carbon Gray was a series I started off with issue 1. I had issue 1 way back when I got it for $1. And it's a regular size issue. So, at least for issue 1, it's regular size issues. It's really weird that an omnibus does that. I don't know. I can't explain it. And we're going to move on. Actually, I'm going to double check to make sure I was right. Okay, so volume 3 is actually 2 issues. So it's Carbon Gray volume 1, 1 through 3. Carbon Gray volume 2, 1 through 3. Carbon Gray volume 3, 1 through 2. And it's a pretty thick trade. So that means each issue is pretty long. I don't know. I know they can do that. I know that's how some series are. There are 3-issue miniseries, which is kind of weird. Especially because the issue 1 of Carbon Gray, which I really hope, I'm just thinking to myself, I really hope that's not all of, I really hope I have all of Carbon Gray. I need to find it. It's somewhere in my myriad of back issue short boxes. If you're a comic collector like mine, if you're a comic collector like me, your comic collection is probably as discombobulated as mine is. I don't know where Carbon Gray is. I was trying to find my first issue of Satellite Sam. Could not for the life of me find it. So, here you go. Because I was like, well, I'm going to read the issue. I was going to read Satellite Sam this past month. I didn't, obviously. I decided the last minute to change it up. But I was trying to find it. Couldn't find it. And I don't know if I sold it. Because when I get, like, the first issue of a series, I get the trade of it. I get rid of it. In fact, one of the comics I gave away for my Instagram giveaway, it was the first 4 issues of Dark Ride. I get the first 4 issues and I'm going to trade it afterwards. So it's like, okay, you don't need the issues anymore, let's give those away. So that's what happens. Alright. 103. Let's keep going. So I'm not still filming at 103. Ha ha ha. At 10:45. Alright. Let's get to move on. The next 2 series, not 2 volumes, the next 2 series is all written by Michael Morecci. First is all 3 volumes of Hoax Hunters. Hoax Hunters Volume 1, Murder, Death, and the Devil, collects the first 6 issues of Hoax Hunters. You got Hoax Hunters Volumes, issue 0, and then 5 actual issues. Yep, I was right. So originally published as Hoax Hunters issue 0 through 5. I don't know why I do issue 0. I sometimes don't even know what that means. Sometimes it means it's just like it's a free issue because it's only 5 pages, or like it's just like a preview page. I know Avengers issue 0, the part was part of Al Ewing's overrated Ultimates run. it was just Avengers issue 0, and it had an Avengers story and an Ultimate story in it. Now Ultimates, I just said I whispered as I felt was overrated. It's not my thing. Spoilers for that. So I showed it off. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be reading Ultimates this month. I gave up. I was like, I gave up. It's like 2 issues in. I was like, this is not my thing. Great artwork though, really great artwork, and then surprisingly like investing story that just wasn't my thing. I liked what it was going for, but it's the writing itself. Anyways, moving on. Hoax Hunters Book 2, Secrets and Lies, is 6 through 9, right, of Hoax Hunters? Yep, 6 through 9 of Hoax Hunters. Oh shit, I didn't do it into artist. Okay, so, written by Michael Morecci and Steve Seeley. Artwork is done by Jim Ringnet, Alex, which he only has issue 0. Axel Medellini does issues 1 through 4. Emilio Lejo does issue 5. Flats and color assistance by Charo Solis and Rosario Rosario Costanzo, who does issue 5. Costanzo. So Costanzo is just issue 5. Okay. And then that. Then Hoax Hunters Volume 3 question mark. It just says Hoax Hunters Book of Mothman. And the Thrift Books seal of screw you, we're gonna put that sticker here, covers wherever they would say Volume 3. I imagine it's not Volume 3, because it would say, you would think. Because I always did. So Hoax Hunters Volume 3 question mark, the Book of Mothman. Collects Hoax Hunter, yeah, it is Volume 3, because it's Hoax Hunters 10 through 13, and then the Hoax Hunters Case Files one-shot. So 14 issues collected across 3 volumes. Then we have Roche Limit. Now this and Hoax Hunters were on my Save for Later on my family Amazon account for so long that I swear to God it was like right when I first started collecting Image, like nonstop. So those of you who don't know, past 3 years now, I've been collecting nothing but Image. Those of you are probably confused, like why does it matter Gary Reed, Image Comics? Well, I'm going to explain myself. Back in May of 2022, when I was deciding what I wanted to get for my birthday, I realized, hey, this month before the big day came, because I got a gift card, same thing how I was able to get Artificial and Everything Dead and Dying earlier, was because I had a gift card. So same thing happened 3 years ago. And I was like, hey, the only other series I've been getting is written by Rick Remender and published by Image Comics. Let's do that. Let's follow suit with that. Get a bunch of Rick Remender comics, so that's when I finally got Fear Agent and Black Science, and I believe Low, too. I could be wrong. And, like, oh, that's kind of ironic that I've been doing that. And then I finally got Invincible, and the Amazing Wolfman, and a bunch of... Astonishing Wolfman, it's amazing. And then that's when it started, and then I just never looked back. For the past 3 years, I've been getting nothing but Image Comics. Now, in September of 2022, I added to it, I got my usual Image Comics big lot, and I also got the all 6 omnibuses of Dynamite The Boys, which is written by... yes, it's that The Boys. I got all 6 softcover omnibuses of that series. I was like, hey, softcover, omnibus, complete collections, and I got one for full price and then one for half off. So, no brainer there. Had to do it. Had a lot of money to spend that day, obviously. It was awesome. But, for the most part, it's been nothing but Image Comics the past 3 years. So that's why. So, like I said before, way back when, I want to say I had Hoax Hunters Save for Later. Long time coming for this series. And Roche Limit, of course. Alright. So the only other series that Michael Morecci did for Image is a Hack Slash spinoff. And I'm like, I'm not going to include that. I don't need that. Hack Slash is a multi-volume series by Tim Seeley. I already don't like Tim Seeley's writing, so I'm like, I don't know about that. So, not going to worry about that. Okay, so this was 1 through 5 of... Yes. This collects the first 5 issues of Roche Limit. It's Roche Limit Volume 1, Anomalous. But you'll see here that... I think they're going through aesthetic here. But the credits page is indecipherable. Why they didn't just do like that on one side and the other side it was translated, quote unquote, I don't know. I have no idea why they did it like that. But first 5 issues collected here. Roche Limit. And I get that going through aesthetic, but it's like... That's like... Roche Limit. Roche Limit. It'd be cool if they give you glasses with it, and as you put the glasses on, you could read it. But other than that, no real reason to do that. Roche Limit Volume 2, Clandestine, collects all 5 issues of Clandestine, but it's still Volume 2. And... I mess up again. So it's written by... Hey. Okay, come on, really? Let's not put the credits page anywhere on the book. Says Michael Marachi. Okay. Written by Michael Marachi. Art by Vic Malhotra. Art assists is done by Kyle Charles, who just does issue 3, and issue 5 is done by Ben Holiday. Colors, Justin Boyd and Lauren Affe. Lauren just does issue 4. Color assists by Marissa Louise, who does issue 5. A lot of names. Roche Limit, Volume 2. I'm doing the thing where I'm like, I didn't show the artwork. I know I did, but I didn't. My brain's fighting with me. There we go. Artwork for Roche Limit. Okay. Roche Limit Volume 2, Clandestiny. All 5 issues of Clandestiny. Roche Limit Volume 3, Monadic, is 4 issues, right? Yes. Nomadic 1 through 4. So, like with Roche Limit, 14 issues collected across 3 volumes. And Roche Limit is actually officially 14 issues. The other one was like the case files. Alright, so I'm getting a replacement for this book too. I ordered it, I had that order online because I didn't think they have it at a comic shop. This is Silencers, which is written by Mark Asquith, R.G. Taylor doing the artwork for this 4-issue miniseries. So 4 issues collected here. Okay, so you can hear that? Yeah? Listen closely. Yeah, that's not nice or cool. Water damage. They said it was a new copy. I call bullshit. There's the artwork too, or the book. Okay. Next up is Violent Messiahs, the Book of Job. 8-issue miniseries, written by... Other side. Written by Joshua D.M. Dryasart. Penciled by Tone Rodriguez. Colors by Travis Smith. Flats done by Shane Colbert. Oh boy. Okay. So across 8 issues, we have a bunch of inkers. Marlo Alquiza. Walden Wong. Mustafa Musa. John Changeland. Jay Leaston. Jonathan Clapion. And then Digital Chameleon, the last 4 issues. That's a lot of names for inkers. That's cool and all, but a lot of names to credit. Guys, tell me out of breath. Alright, I'm out of breath, but not out of breath. Not out of breath, out of energy. Running out of energy. We're almost done though. Kind of, sort of. Planetoid Volumes 1 and 2. Ken Goring does the artwork and he does everything. Every single thing, every single last thing. Planetoid Volume 1 is collecting, I think, the first 5 issues of Planetoid. I believe it's 10 issues total. I could be wrong. No, actually, no. This was 1 through 6. Come on. No, sorry. Planetoid 1 through 5. Planetoid 1 through 5. I was right the first time. Yeah, everything is done by Gary Reed. Everything is done by Ken Gehring. He does the story, art, and lettering. Graphic design and logo is done by Drew Gill. It's the only other name you're going to see on the Ken Gehring image book. And here is the artwork for Planetoid. Nice, cool little sci-fi graphic novel. Then Planetoid Paraxis is collecting 1 through 6. So this one collects 1 through 6 of Planetoid Paraxis. So 11 issues across 2 volumes, like with Captara. Gogor, also by Ken Gehring. 5-issue miniseries, I do believe. Everything done by Ken Gehring. So all credits go to him. He's the writer, he's the artist, he's the letterer. Yep, 1 through 5 of Gogor. Which I swear to God I heard it before. It was like I came across it somewhere. Actually, I think it was, oh my god, it was fucking Newbury Comics, I think. A long time ago. Wow, I think that takes it back. Back when Newbury Comics was like, hey, we have a bargain bin, and we have a pretty good shelf of books. And then they were like, we're not gonna restock. No. We want to be the GameStop of comic shops. We want that reputation. We like that reputation, apparently. Great clerks, they all, great work, employees there. They all recognized me. Like, I remember when I was going there regularly, when I had a job that was, I worked at a Red Robin that was like right down the street, not even. It was like a 5-minute walk, not even. And then I'm there. It was within the same mall. A second in like 2 seconds. My God. So I on my lunch break, I go lunch break I go to Newbury Comics, buy some comics, and after a while they knew my name. I had and they're probably still pissing me for this, but I had a pull list, which I forgot about after a while. Like, I remembered it, and then I forgot about it, and they were like, one more chance, and then, of course, I stopped getting single issues, so now I definitely did drop it, because I've visited that since then, but yeah, they're probably pissed. Like, we gave you one more chance, and you begged us to give us one more chance, and now you're gonna do this a year later? That's kind of silly. And I know I showed the artwork for Gogor. I know I did. Okay, that's gonna fall. Okay. So we're gonna do... Here, come here, book. You wanna know how OCD I am? I don't even put my new book stacked on top of one another, and the bottom book is not on the floor. I have a bottom book to put in its place. Now, if it's a hardcover, I put them all on top of the hardcover. It doesn't matter, but... yeah. Alright. Sisterhood, a Hyde Street story. Collecting 1 through 5 of Sisterhood, and then the It Happened on Hyde Street one-shot. All written by Maytal Shoot, which is ZCHUT. Artist is Layla Lays. Color artist is Alex Sinclair. Yeah, you guys can tell, I've been doing this for a long time. I like doing videos like this. This is like my favorite kind of video to do. Showing off comics that I bought. There you go. Showing off comics, and also, like, it's kind of funny that the comic book reviews is not my preferred content, and rather it's the comic hauls, where, like, none of these I've read before, except for 1 issue of Carbon Gray. Out of 9. Which actually, that kind of does make sense now the more I think. Out of 8, which, I don't know. Moving on. We're not going to keep pressing on about that. Where the hell? Oh, why'd I do that? Why'd I stack it like that? I did it the opposite way. That's not helpful. In the slightest. Okay. Sisterhood. Oh, artwork. Which I know I did show, but we're going to show it again. My brain is not working right now, if you couldn't tell already. The only reason why I'm doing all the... This collects this collects that, is because I'm going on autopilot. I'm sorry for that creaking. I try not to do it, but I'm moving around and I can't prevent it from doing that. I hope it's not that annoying. It's probably only because I'm right near it. Everybody doesn't pick up too much. Alright. Final Boss Volume 1. Taylor Kirkham doing the writing and artwork assists, but it's also done by David Miller, who's the second artist there. Colors is Ivzanya Noor. This is the first 5 issues of Final Boss. Looks to be a kick-ass comic. Got a lot of great praise and press releases and all that jank. Image Comics recently has been selling like hotcakes. White Sky issue 1 is like Diorc issue 1. I'm gonna say Diorc. I know it's Dork, but Diorc is because it's D''ORC. But Diorc is like issue 1 is $100. 9.8 graded. It's the absolute Batman issue 1 of Image Comics series. And that is great. It's not being like, oh, it's Robert Kirkman, so it makes sense. It's the artist of I Hate Fairyland doing the writing. I Hate Fairyland is a series that even I don't like. It's not my preferred kind of humor. It's like instead of saying the F word, instead of saying fuck, we say fluff. So instead of saying fuck that, we say fluff that. It's really funny because you don't say that normally, and in our hero, in the fantasy world, is called Gert, and she is vulgar. She does a middle finger. Isn't that funny? She just fluffed that. There was one joke I liked when she's at a bar and she's hitting on a guy, and the guy's like freaked out, and the guy is like towering over her. I thought that was kind of funny. And it's more tedious to get through than enjoyable. And keep in mind, one of my favorite Image Comics series is Middle West. Same goddamn writer as I Hate Fairyland. Now, I Hate Fairyland I do want to give a second chance to. I do. Once the series is all done, I'll probably get all the trades or maybe the hardcovers and then read it then. But as for right now, I'm fine with not owning it. Alright, so Final Boss, all 5 issues. I did the artwork. Moving on. And I credited the creators. Jackson would be very happy with me right now. Witchblade Volume 3. Yeah, you guys can tell I'm going insane right now. I'm starting to go insane now. 13 through 18, Volume 3. Written by Marguerite Bennett. Line art by Giuseppe Cafaro. Colors by Arif Prianato. And the letterer is still Tony Peretti, who does a lot of Top Cow books. Lettering for Top Cow books. It's like across the board. I think he actually has every single Top Cow book, and that's why it's Top Cow. Once you know it's Top Cow. It's kind of interesting. So this is the modern Witchblade ongoing. Now, why am I collecting this? Like I said, I don't do that. Because the complete collections are not going to collect that. And we're so far behind with the complete collections that I don't even know anymore. I don't even know if they'll collect the 2017 series, for Christ's sake. So we're definitely getting the new ongoing. Just the artwork. Okay. No Man's Land, says Simon Kudaransky. All 4 issues. He does the artwork. He does the he does everything. I think there's just like a logo design by another creator. Or another name, another person. Yeah, translation assistant is Adam Morwell, but Atom, like Captain Atom. Atom. Here's a better page spread of the artwork. I try to go towards the middle. I try to go towards the first few pages when I'm showing off the artwork, but sometimes I just don't do that. Knights Volume 3, which is written by Wyatt Kennedy with artwork done by Luigi Foramo. Wait, what's Foramo? Luigi Formasano Rano. Here you go. Here's the artwork for Knights of the Old Republic. 13 through 18 is collected in that series. I can't see it in that volume. Lost Fantasy Volume 2. Kurt Pyers doing the writing here. Franklin Jonas, like Jonas, like the Jonas Brothers, doing the script. Maxi Dallo doing the artwork. And then he's assisted by Luca Casa LaGuida. The colors is done by a name that is cut off because of the gutter loss, but it's Mark Dale. And this collects issues 6 or 8, right? No, 5 through 8. 5 through 8 of the ongoing series of Lost Fantasy by Kurt Pyers. Hey, if I need the only reason why I bought this, of course, I like to get the trades as they're coming out. I don't like to keep doing that. I don't do that for a bunch of series. If it exceeds 4, I'm like, oh, I don't like doing that. Why are they all coming out the same day? Or same month? But there's a 37th in the first 5 minutes, and then another 37. Whoever's doing a drinking game, I am sorry that I was involved in that, and it was involved in your hospital visit. I'm sorry that you got alcohol poisoning because I kept saying But anyways, Lost Fantasy is written by Kurt Pyers. If I need an excuse to check out It's Only Teenage Wasteland for the 40th time in 3 years, hey, there you go. But it's also, I don't like exceeding past 6. It's just an ongoing series, ongoing volumes. It's not even a complete series. I'm not doing that. But whatever. At the end of the day, whatever. Because I'm a completist, and that's how I be a completist. All right, we're almost done. You guys imagine how much I'm sweating. Haunt, the complete collection by Robert Kirkman, with artwork. Okay, there's a bunch of names. Written by Robert Kirkman, Joe Casey, Tom McFarlane. Pencils done by Ryan Otley, Greg Capullo, Nathan Fox, Robbie Rodriguez, Kyle Strom. Additional pencils done by Todd McFarlane, Mr. Sheldon, Travis Sengas, and John Goff. Inks by Todd McFarlane, Jonathan Glapion. Additional inks done by David Mickey and LeBeau Underwood. Make your jokes there. Colors FCO Planciza. I don't even know how to say that name. Ivan Planciza. Thomas Mason and Brad Simpson. Layouts Greg Capullo. Cover artists Todd McFarlane, Ryan Otley, Greg Capullo, Eric Larson, and Nathan Fox. That is a lot of credits for just 28 issues. All 28 issues are collected here. This is the other aforementioned series that I'll be reading next month, right off the GD bat. Big ol' haunts. I said it's very quiet downstairs. I just want to see if my little prediction is right. I'm at 11:08. Trying to get my books. Alright, come on now. Ring. Yes, I should have woken up earlier. What do you... No, that was wrong. Okay. Alright. Next one is a whole bunch of names again. Is Tech Jacket 23 issues, but actually just Tech Jacket 1 through 8, which all 8 issues is done by Robert Kirkman. Then Tech Jacket Digital 1 through 3, and then Tech Jacket 2014 Series 1 through 12. All of which is written by Joseph Keatinge. So we got those names out of the way, right? So Aubrey Citizen for 7 through 8, I was wrong. So Aubrey Citizen is a co-writer for issues 7 through 8. So the first 6 issues is all done by Robert Kirkman, all alone. E.G. Sue is the artist for most of this series. Carrie Randolph assists her with issues 9 through 23. Val Staples and David McCraig do 1 issue each of coloring. Ali Tabacoli and Dash Martin do the color assists for 5 issues. Ron Riley is a colorist for 7 issues. Emilio Lopez for the rest. Russ Wooton is... Okay, older. Actually, what's kind of funny is that Robert Kirkman does lettering here. Okay, so here is the artwork for Tech Jacket. One of many, 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 many Invincible spin-off series. I thought it was just Invincible and maybe Astonishing Wolfman. And then that 1 volume of Invincible Universe. No, there's several. Which I like that, it makes the series feel more fleshed out, and you get oh, I want to know more about Tech Jacket. Here's a whole ass compendium of Tech Jacket. Same thing for Astonishing Wolfman. That's pretty damn cool. I got oopsies. I do gotta say myself. So, it's all in 1 volume. Everything Tech Jacket, all in 1 volume. It's nice. Here's the 47th in an hour and a half. It doesn't really annoy me. I'm making it's more like me joking about it. It's half joking. Okay, so I did the artwork. Created all the writers, said how many issues. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Alright. Next one I know for a fact is 14 issues, and that is Battle Pope. Looks like a Bible, kind of, so yeah, like that. You have kind of this, I guess, too, the embossed. You also got this little doohickey. That's pretty cool. I like when they go all out for their designs, the hardcovers. Like, hey, we know you could just get the trades. Get the hardcover for this reason. Spend a little bit extra money. Honestly, I think the soft covers are out of print, so you might as well just get the hardcover, because it's somehow the most cost-effective way of getting Battle Pope. Alright. Robert Kirkman is the creator, writer, layout artist, letterer, and penciler for a lot of issues here. And the inker. Tony Moore doing the creator is the creator and penciler, co-creator and penciler for a lot of issues here. A lot of pages here. Inker, same thing. Story assist for chapter 2. Matthew Roberts, penciler and inker for a few pages here. Mark Kidwell, same dealio. It's actually one full issue. For both Matthew and Mark. Brian Payne, penciler and inker for one issue. Same as Shane White and Corey Walker and E.J. Sue. Val Staples seems to be the colors throughout, and cover artist is Tony Moore. So almost all the same names as Tech Jacket. How ironic. No, that was not done on purpose. Both Tech Jacket and Battle Pope I was supposed to get during Christmas time. I did not. Last minute I changed my mind, and now we're doing it for my birthday. That's the whole reason why. Oh, and artwork. Artwork. I almost forgot to show it. And this is not an Invincible spin-off. I looked it up, it said no. Again, AI Assistant said that, but they would know. That's one of those things I kind of can't get wrong, in my opinion. Oh, they didn't do that. Okay. I thought I had the bookmark thingy, well, whatever you want to call it, covering part of it. Alright. So, the Red Diary, or, alternatively, the Red Diary. Teddy Christensen with Stephen T. Siegel. I believe Stephen T. Siegel does the, yep. So, translation assistant, Stephen T. Siegel, but written and painted by Teddy Christensen. That's pretty cool. It's one of those kinds of books. Not really a comic book, not really an art book. I'm going to flip through this and see if there's any word balloons. Yep, there is. Right here. At the very least, right there. Now, this is a pretty oversized hardcover. I like when they're even more oversized, so I have to look at my copy of Battle Pope and be like, is that an omnibus size? What's this size? Oh, it's bigger than an omnibus. That's cool. And then finally, last but not the least, Vaughn Bode's The Complete Dead Bone Erotica. I got this because of the name Erotica. I saw this a whole bunch of times. I was like, oh, I'll get it now. We'll get it now. And then I kind of fell off. And then because of the way that this is presented. So there was a magazine called Cavalier. And Vaughn Bode did some artwork and some writing for that, some comics for that magazine. I'm pretty sure it's a magazine because this is magazine sized, so it makes sense. I don't know for sure. I'm going to say that's the case, but Mark Bode does some additional art and lettering here, and coloring here. And then digital restoration done by Alan Harvey. And Jim Valentino does scanning and book design. Assistant to Mr. Valentino, Jamie Tubek. Okay, I need to do any. Okay, I don't do anything. Okay. Now, the reason for why I was kind of skeptical to get this is because the way that the book is presented, the way that the page layout is, I just like that over, like, so much artwork, so much words here. I know it was in the 70s, in the late 70s? Late 60s? I want to say late 60s, early 70s. No. Yes, I know. Yes. Late 60s to early mid 70s. So, 69 to 75. Make your jokes now about how sex book has started out in '69. You know what? I'm gonna get demonetized with this 2-page spread. Obviously joking, I'm not monetized. I would never dodge those allegations. I'm making my videos longer on purpose. It's to get that money. Alright. That, as they say, is that. 48 comics. 45 if you don't include the reprints, if anything, or the repurchases. That, as I say, is that. An hour and a half. We have been going on for the runtime of... Oh. What movie is an hour and 35 minutes? I can't think of one. On top of my head, because my brain is mush. Okay.